Oh, there. This is Slav, Polinski Homes, Down Grove with App Properties, coming to you. This is a special video that we're recording today. I'm actually interviewing one of the area lenders, Michael Gambatese with Guaranteed Rate. So we're going to talk about the real estate market, the changes that the industry has adjusted to in the middle of COVID-19, how that's affected the real estate industry as well as the mortgage industry. So, Michael, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself, tell us about a little bit about your background and your experience.
Yeah, thanks, Slav. Yep, as he mentioned, I'm with Guaranteed Rate and have been in the mortgage business for about 18 and a half years. So I've been doing this long enough to have been able to help thousands of families throughout the Chicagoland area and across the country with their home financing needs, primarily focused on residential mortgages.
Fantastic. It's a pleasure having you here, and I'm looking forward to your insights about how the special situation and challenge we're in, how the mortgage industry has adjusted to make sure that our clients, buyers and sellers, that their financial, it's one of the major financial decisions people make in their life is buying and selling a house. And we want to make sure they understand that they are well taken care of.
Right. And I think it's important now in this time to really be working with professionals like yourself and myself to really help buyers and sellers kind of navigate through these times, because people have a lot of questions. And a lot of the questions are about things that we may or may not have ever dealt with. So I think working with a professional right now is of the utmost importance.
I couldn't agree with you more. And there are a lot of changes, and changes are taking place every week as we move forward. One of the newest changes as far as how we are able to show homes just came up recently this week. Number one of the changes is a tenant-occupied home cannot be shown physically. Number two is no open houses until we get through this. And the third change is that no more than, during a physical showing, no more than 4 individuals are allowed in the home at one time. And with that, we're also having clients sign waivers or disclosures, just letting people know that they are indeed safe. They haven't been in contact with anybody with COVID-19 and so forth. And me personally, what I've been doing for a while now, for 2-3 weeks, is supplying my clients with gloves, disposable shoe covers. A lot of times when we go into homes, the seller's agent provides shoe covers for people to put on. I don't want my clients touching something that somebody else had their hands on. So I provide our own shoe covers and dispose of them after we're done, and of course hand sanitizers. My intention is to keep my clients as safe as possible and the owners of the home as safe as possible. And as more information comes towards us from the industry or from the government, we will adapt to those changes as need be. So Mike, I'd like to talk to you about mortgage industry. One of the things I want to start out with is the interest rates. I mean, historically right now, we're still at the lowest interest rate than I've ever seen. However, I think it was about 2-3 weeks ago, there was almost overnight a spike in the interest rates, and I've had a couple clients at that time panic, thinking that their opportunity, they were first-time home buyers, to purchase, and may have slipped away. And I told them just to stay calm, and I expected them to come back down, and they did. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened there, what the expectations are, and how the whole mortgage process is going right now that you see in the real estate industry?
Yes, actually, the interest rate is probably the single biggest topic that people have been talking about and want to know about. And we did, a couple weeks ago, hit almost all-time lows on interest rates. 30-year fixed hit low to mid threes. And then basically there was a kind of a log jam in the system. And so Fannie and Freddie basically kind of pumped the brakes a little bit on that because of the influx of mortgages, and the liquidity basically stopped. So as a result of that, lenders like Guaranteed Rate and other major lenders across the country, basically our interest rates went up just to kind of slow the volume down a little bit. The good news is that the Fed has made it a point to keep interest rates low. So they pump some liquidity back into the market, therefore driving interest rates back down. And now, as you and I have talked about, we're back down to the low to mid threes on a 30-year fixed in most cases. So we're very pleased about where interest rates are right now, and it's driving people to stay engaged. And like you mentioned earlier, not to panic. I think that's the major message here, is just not to panic, remain engaged. Now is still a really good time to buy because money is still very, very cheap. And our process hasn't slowed down one bit. We're 100% digital throughout the mortgage application process. So that allows my clients the ability to be able to move through the process very efficiently without ever having to meet face-to-face and be able to provide their documents to me all digitally in a safe, 100% secure environment. So we haven't slowed down one bit.
That's great information. And as you mentioned before, it's so important to keep our clients informed because sometimes there is a little bit of misinformation going on. And I'll give you an example. One of my clients shown her a home earlier this week, and she expected the whole process to take longer because she said a friend of hers was having a refi done, and she was told that the appraisal could take weeks longer than usual. And something that we discussed before was that home purchases are taking priority over refinancing. Is that correct?
Right, 100%. As an industry leader, we've kind of led the way in this initiative, making sure that everybody knows, including our appraisers and every other vendor that we deal with and all of my team, that purchases will always take priority over refinances. So the appraisers have been instructed not to put refinances in front of purchases for that sole reason. We are a purchase lender, first and foremost. The refinances are great, and if I can help save my clients money with doing a refinance, I certainly will. But the way that we're accommodating for that is locking in the refinances in for a longer period of time so that we don't have kind of a log jam in the beginning of everything needing to be done in 30 days or less. So that also gives the appraisers the time to get out there, get the appraisals done right away for the purchases and the purchases first. I know we've talked about this before, but I think it's good to mention how that kind of appraisal process has changed a little bit given this time that we're dealing with COVID-19. So all of the appraisers have been instructed to take every precaution necessary. If they actually do have to enter a home, do so with gloves, masks, booties, things like that. But the way that we've, are dealing with not having to go into people's homes is doing virtual appraisals where literally the appraiser will have the ability to take photos digitally, working with the listing agent and or the homeowner in doing FaceTime, virtual tours through the house, and situations like that. So we're navigating through this situation and trying to do things with as little personal contact as possible.
That's perfect. Actually, that was going to be my next question, how appraisals have changed from the way they were done before and the way they are done now. And I think it's great how the industry has adapted right now to just ensure that people do feel safe and secure in their homes and through the whole process. I recently just had a listing appointment with a client that we're going to list her condo. And after making sure that she felt comfortable about moving forward, I asked her, since you do want to move forward and list your condo, what would make you feel, the most safe and secure? And she said that what would make her feel most comfortable is if I would show up for every one of the showings just to make sure that the buyer's agent is taking the necessary precautions, number one, to keep their clients safe and to keep her condo and her health safe. And of course, I will do that. I think we have to do what is necessary to make our clients feel safe and secure moving forward until we do get through this.
Right, right. And in addition to that as well, we're working directly with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to basically streamline the process even more, where we're now having more situations where an appraisal may not even be needed. At certain, with certain loan to value amounts and certain down payments, we have situations where we can actually get away without an appraisal. So we're working hand in hand with them to, kind of figure out solutions to all these issues.
Yeah, that's perfect that you mentioned that, because I actually just had a client just last week purchased a townhome in a nearby area, and we received notification that they will be waiving that appraisal. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about closings. For me, this is kind of a strange situation, because in the last week, I've had 3 closings, and actually having one going on right now while we're talking. And I've always been the type of realtor that would always be at every single closing, whether my clients were present or not. So this is kind of a strange, territory for me. Tell me what you know about how closings are being handled right now.
So the most popular closing that's happening right now, and we're working hand in hand with the title companies to figure this out on a minute-by-minute basis, but what's the most popular one right now that everybody's comfortable with is what we're calling curbside closings. And basically what that is our process is, as I mentioned earlier, 100% digital, and all of our closing documents, also the goal is to have those be 100% digital too. We're not quite there yet because of laws specific to each state with regard to what documents need to be notarized, but 90% of the closing package can actually be signed digitally prior to the closing, either the day before the closing or the morning of the closing, by the clients in their homes. So by the time they get to the title company, the majority of the package is already signed. And then the curbside element of it is literally we're working with the title companies to have them come out to the people's cars, and they're actually signing documents in their cars with pens that they bring their own pens, or the title company provides them with clean pens that they just then throw away. So again, we're working hand in hand with the title companies to do that. Eventually, we'd like to get to a point where we can do end-to-end with no personal contact. And we're working with the state of Illinois with that right now, where we're working on mobile notarization, which is basically where you'll share a screen with a notary who will be able to walk you through the documents that that need to be signed, and then it'll all be done digitally as well, so that you never have to go into a title company. Now, obviously, you'll still have to exchange keys and things like that, but the actual loan package and closing package would be 100% digital. Not quite there yet, but that's the end goal.
Yeah, that's perfect. And it's amazing the adjustments that are being made during this time, and makes you wonder, how that's going to affect our industry, not only our industry, but other industries moving forward, that this has kind of forced many businesses to look outside the box, and how can we take care of business in a different manner than we currently are, with our clients' best interests in mind.
Well, and that's really the goal, right? Is just making sure we're working with our clients and all of our partners to see what everybody's comfortable with doing. Because that's ultimately what it boils down to, is making sure that everybody's comfortable with the process, and to make sure it's efficient as possible. And it's a constantly evolving thing. So the goal really is just to close as efficiently as possible and start the process and end the process with as much efficiency as we possibly can.
Yes, exactly. Fantastic. Mike, I truly appreciate your insight and your expertise this morning, keeping our clients educated with what's going on, including the changes in the real estate and mortgage industry. Would you like to share your contact information if somebody would like to get in touch with you about either a refi or a pre-approval?
Sure. We can also kind of share some things in the comments too when we make the post, but I can be reached, my cell phone number, which I can be reached on at any time, is 773-220-8859. Again, that's 773-220-8859. And my email is mgambatese@rate.com. So mgambatese@rate.com.
Perfect. Thank you. And yes, we will post it in the comments, both on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, so people have all your information. Again, thanks so much for joining me today. And one of the things I really love is how communities do come together during these times here in the Downers Grove area. It's amazing how I'm watching the different business owners and people just really supporting each other. And thank you for working with me on that raffle that we had that we posted yesterday in support of 3 of our restaurants who have a community gift card valued of $150, which is Pierce Tavern, the Foxtail, and Scuttlebutts. And so we had a special drawing, and so right now I'd like to draw that name to see who our winner is. And this is a great opportunity, number one, to provide a little joy in people's lives with this gift card, as well as supporting some local businesses. So right here, so if you upside down, we got a Pierce Tavern cap, and inside I have all the slips of the entries. So we're gonna reach in there, and we're gonna pull out a name, and the winner is Stephen Michael. That's right. Excellent. There, Stephen Michael. So we will be in contact with Stephen and get the gift card to him. And again, thank you for partnering with me on that, supporting our community and the people of the community.
Thank you, Slav. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Any final words, Mike, before we log off?
No, I think we covered the majority of it. I think now is just any questions or concerns that people have, whether they're in the middle of the process, starting the process. I'm happy to be a resource.
Thank you. Thank you again. And, you know, what I'm doing is, and I mentioned this a couple of videos before, that as changes come up in the real estate market, whether it be changes in policy or changes in the market itself, I will be posting videos on a weekly, bi-weekly time period, as much as possible, as often as needed, so that the public stays current on the changes and their investment of their homes. So again, thank you very much, Mike. And this is Slav Polinski at Slav Polinski Homes. Make it a great day.